Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to energize, start and take off with the TBM-930 that is included in the new flight simulator. As you can see, we have quite some nice weather up here. And there are a lot of other people around, actually. So let's head right into it. As you probably know, up here, that's the wrong button. Up here you have your checklist. Now what's nice about the TBM is you have a complete checklist rundown from the pre-flight inspection down to the shutdown of the engine at the end of your flight. A lot of other aircraft don't have this complete checklist. They only have like the first 3 to 4 subtasks on the checklist, but this one has it all. So why not head into it, shall we? So exterior lights are located right here. They are all off. The interior lights are also all off. The crash lever, that's this one here, the crash bar, that is down. The starter is in the off position. Ignition is in the auto position. The fuel pump is in the off position. And the fuel selection is set to manual. That's okay. Autopilot and trims is set to off. Then we have the de-icing system in the lower left. They are all set to off. That's good. Inertial separation, or inertial separation, whatever it's called, is also set to off. The parking brake is on. The landing gear lever is down. Bleed air is set to off. The throttle is in cut off. The fuel tank selector is set to the left tank. That's okay. Very nice. So now we will energize the aircraft. So we head to the overhead panel, move the crash bar up, and we have the choice of battery or ground power unit. We will just go with the battery, because we will just turn the aircraft right on. I'm also going to turn on the navigation lights for now. The generator set to main. De-icing system lights. Now, it says here de-icing system lights test, but it's a test of the complete of all lights that can light up in the cockpit. So you'll see the master warning and master caution light up. You'll see the activation lights on the autopilot panel turn on. You'll see a light turn on the dump switch. So let's just go ahead, and you'll also see these light up, of course. So as you see, they all light up. So that's okay. Next is landing gear lights. They are working. And check down lights. They are also working. Fuel on board, 50% in both tanks, that is accurate. So now engine start. You have motoring. You have the option to motor the engine if your interturbine temperature is over 150 degrees Celsius. That is right here. So if this number is over 150, you can do the motoring. so the engine won't overheat on your next startup. So if you had a failed startup or you had to abort a startup, you'll do a motoring of the engine and then you'll be fine for another attempt. So ignition is set to auto, aux boost pump, so that's the fuel pump, set to on, the propeller area is clear, that is okay. So to start the engine, I will set the starter switch to on, and then I'll check the engine instruments, and when this number here goes to 13%, I will move the throttle lever to this position, to low idle, and that gets the engine running. So let's just go ahead and do that. 1, 2, and let it go. Now we see 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I move the throttle lever to low idle. You'll see the ITT rising, and G is rising, and slowly up prop RPM is rising too. We do have oil pressure, we do have oil temperature indication. So what you will see now is the ITT will rise into the red area right here. And I don't know if this is a bug or whatever, because it doesn't tell you. Right here you have to move the throttle lever not even to high idle, but to flight idle. And you will see the temperature is going down, slowly but steady, back into the green, and it's gonna stay there. So it doesn't say it right here, after the engine start, but it does say it right here. So low idle to flight idle. In the best case scenario, you just go ahead, set it to flight idle, so you don't get your ITT overheat indication. Oil pressure and temperature are both in the green. That's okay. So we set the aux boost pump to auto. The fuel selection is auto. And the fuel selection shift button, you can press it, but actually nothing will happen, so that's okay. Autopilot and trims is on. Generator is still set to main. Engine bleed air is set to auto. So let's see, before we do the before taxi checklist, we'll go ahead, check in with Aspen ground, and departure straight out. So I'm gonna turn on my strobe lights. And we are clear to taxi, so put on the taxi lights.
Contact tower on 118.85 when ready. Generic 6 Alpha Victor, continue taxi.
Taxi to and hold short runway tree via taxiway Alpha 9er Daher 64 Papa.
Okay, so we have got the taxi clearance, so we can go ahead and continue with the before taxi checklist. Okay, inertial separator is set to on. The flight controls are free. The flaps are up. And the throttle we will feather twice. So just move to the right. You see the temperature rising. You'll see CAS messages turn up. That's 1. And that's 2. Put it back to flight idle. And you see our engine is turning off for some reason.
Oral warning, okay.
Now it does say you feather twice. So that's a problem. We have only feathered once. So what we are going to do now, wait a few seconds, see if the ITT goes down below 150. That's okay. And we will put the throttle back to cut off. We will turn our ignition and aux boost pump off. Now I don't know why this happens. This didn't used to happen, and just over the last few days it just started to randomly turn off when I try to feather the propeller. So that's kind of strange, but that's the way it is, and we have to live with it. So what I'm going to do now, and this has always worked for me, is ignition and aux boost pump to off, and I will do a motoring of the engine just to get all the residue fuel and heat out. So I will turn on the starter. You'll see pressure going up, ITT staying where it is, and G is rising. We'll leave it like that for a few seconds. And now we'll abort. You can see we're back to 0. Our oil pressure is also almost 0. Excuse me, my voice is kind of down. So now we'll try to start the engine again. Turn on the ignition, turn on the aux boost pump, and we will start the engine. Oil pressure is rising, ITT is rising, and G is rising. And you can see this time we're good. We're going to flight idle, so we avoid overheating condition. Okay. So now put it back to auto. Fuel selection is still on auto, and we will try this one again. We go back to high idle. See the temperature rise. The first CAS message appear. Second CAS message appears. We go back to flight idle, and now you see the ITT stays where it is and the engine stays on. We go back to high idle. See the ITT rising again. CAS message number 1. CAS message number 2. You go back to flight idle. Observe the ITT, and it stays where it is, and we are good to go. Check again. Taxi lights are on. Lights are on. We will set our altimeter. Now if I had a flight plan active, to another airport, and I want to use the navigation function here. What I have to do is set my navigation source not to nav. So I have nav1, nav2, but I want it set to FMS. And as you can see, this arrow turns magenta, and once it's magenta, you are in the right mode for the nav button. If you do not put it into FMS, you try to activate the nav button, it does not work at all. So keep that in mind. I will turn on my speed box. I'll turn off my AOA sensor. I will turn on my wind. That shows up right here, as you can see. I will turn off the parking brake. I'll go ahead and set the flaps to take off, and we will get a pushback. Now in the meantime, what I can do already is turn on my pitot heat and stall heat, so we see the COS messages disappear. I'll have a quick look around the cockpit to see if everything is the way I want it to, which seems to be the case. I will wait for pushback. Now, of course, in reality, you will do a pushback with the prop on, but I don't care at all, to be honest. I always do my pushbacks when I have started the engine. Okay, that should be enough. Wait for him to leave and give us some space. And now give it some thrust and take it back again and roll to our runway. Nobody from the right, and there's nobody on the left, so we are good to go. No, I will not need the entire runway, so let's just turn right here, stop at the holding point, park brake on, go through our checklist before lineup. Park brake is on, landing lights are on, navigation lights are on, strobe lights are on, ignition auto or as required. Ignition is on auto, aux boost pump set to auto, and fuel selection set to auto, de-icing system as required. You can leave that off. We have 41 degrees Celsius, so we don't need anti-icing right now. pitot heat and stall heat set to on. We have that. We have the inertial separator to on. We have trims to take off. So I'll just give it a few times. The flaps are set to take off. Bleed air is set to auto. Altimeter set and check. Okay. Altitude selection, we don't need that right now. but we do need our transponder squawk to be active. Now we're squawking. And we have takeoff checklist. Proper RPM must be in the green sector. The brake should be released to torque at 100%. On rotation speed we will pitch up 10 degrees. We'll try at least. With positive vertical speed, brakes are applied and landing gear is up, and at above 150 knots we'll put flaps up. Okay. So we tune tower and request our clearance. At least try to.
Aspen Tower, Daher, November 7764 Papa at runway tree ready for takeoff, departing straight out.
Daher, November 7764 Papa, taxi into position and hold.
Okay, so no clearance right now.
64 Papa.
Runway is clear. Now the problem will probably be, and the reason why I didn't get a takeoff clearance is because I didn't start or taxi to the end of the runway that it expects me to. So I probably won't get a takeoff clearance until I go back to the start of the runway. I'm not gonna do that right now because I don't want to. So I'm gonna go, I don't know, go to ground so it doesn't yell at me. Just go for it. So brakes are off. I'll put the thrust lever not full forward, because if I put it full forward I will get a master warning. And lift off, a bit harsh. I will apply the brakes, put up the landing gear, flaps in, trim out the aircraft. That's a little bit too much, and that's fine, that's okay. And there we go. We are in the air. So that was quite a long video, I know, but maybe it helped some of you. As you can see now, I have too much throttle. I get a red ITT, I pull back the throttle and I'm good to go again. Yeah, what I was about to say, I hope this video helped a little bit. If you didn't know how to use the TBM before, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.